Hey everybody, I'm going live here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Jumping back into the game I've been creating in Scratch as a way to kind of code along and learn about computer programming and just also have fun. Also looking just to have fun with creating with technology, like I like to do. So let me jump back into what I've been working on over the weekend. I'm going to add in here my. Let me get rid of this here. All right. I'll show you where we landed on Sunday. This is a game I came up with called Ducks and Cakes. The link here, I'll add that down here at the bottom. The link is how you get to it. Ducks Cakes in your browser. bit.ly/duckscakes. How it works is this: hit the green flag. You have 3 presents. You pick one, and let's see, shakes. And you want to go for the cake, and you want the cake instead of the ducks. And so you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting the cake, and then 2 in 3 chance of getting the ducks. And we started to, over the weekend, work on the sort of counter up here, or the scoreboard up here, and we didn't quite get it working right. And I figured maybe I'd put some time into the stream and put some time into the game right now, now that I'm done with work for today, to see about implementing that. And I had an idea for how to do it. So I'm going to go into the insides of this thing I've been working on, and and I'm in Scratch here, and I've got here what the game looks like. So we've got the everything here. You can still play with it over here on the stage. This is all the code over here. And I was working here where there's this variable here. This is a spot in memory that stores any kind of data you want. Maybe it's text, a letter, a word, or a bunch of words. It could be a number too. And so I wanted to basically implement this so that we can count the number of times we get a cake and count the number of times we get a duck. So let's go in and take a look. I tried the one easy way here, which was just putting this change cakes by 1 and change ducks by 1. That's just changing the variable that we're storing. But the issue was this. If I click on this gift here and I open it up, it opens. Oh. We got the cake. Oh, it's now that the gifts are open, every time I click on the cake, I'm still getting score for this. And that's cheating, so we want to stop that from happening. So let's see, I'm going to get rid of this little banner at the bottom here so you can see everything I'm doing here. Okay. So let's see. First, let's talk about the game state. I think the issue here is that this game isn't aware, and the sprites aren't aware, and the sprites are the different objects on the stage here. These sprites aren't aware what state the game is in, whether the gifts are wrapped or not wrapped. And so what we want to do is essentially keep track of that state in the game. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable, and I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to call it status. And it's going to be for all sprites. I'll hit OK. Okay, now you'll see that status is going to appear on the stage because it's checked off there. I can uncheck it and recheck it, and you'll see it picks up, it appears and disappears right there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is there are 2 statuses that I think we need. One is wrapped and unwrapped. So we need to track when the gifts are wrapped and when the gifts are unwrapped, and then change what we do based on that. Okay, so let's go to when the game starts, when the green flag is clicked and everything is going, we know that the state is wrapped. So what we want to do is move this here, set status to wrapped. Okay, that's because we know the gifts are wrapped then. And every time the green flag is clicked, it'll set status to wrapped. So if I hit green flag, then status wrapped. You can see that there. We're only turning this on right now so that we can make sure that this thing works. Now, when the sprite is clicked, we have it do this wiggle thing, we have it play the music, and we have it change the score, but we're doing it every single time, and we only want to do it when the gifts are wrapped. So what we should do is we need to use one more if statement. So that's under control. See, you go to if then. All right, I'm going to drag it over here for now, just because I don't want to get too confusing yet. So if, and we're going to use our operators to make a comparison. Okay, so we're going to drag that in there. And what we're going to do is take the variable as what we're comparing, okay? So if status equals wrapped, then what we want to do is we want to do everything inside that, right? So I want that actually to happen after the sprite is clicked. So I'm going to drag that here and take all that stuff and put it in there. So that just dragged this if statement and says when the sprite is clicked, it's going to check, is the status wrapped? And then it's going to do everything that we had programmed it to do. Okay? And so, but we only want, but the issue here is though, like, we don't change the status yet back to unwrapped, right? And we need to do that because we've done all the stuff when it's wrapped. Nothing's going to change because there's nothing that changes the state. So we want to do one more change here. Operators. I'm sorry, variables. Set status to unwrapped. Okay, so that means after it's clicked, after the game has started, the status is wrapped. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. There we go. Hopefully you can still read this. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. All right. This implementation should work. We've only implemented it right now. We're going to test it in a second. We only done it on one of the GIFs, of the 3 GIFs. We're going to test this method out before we go into anything else, just to make sure this works, okay? So let's just talk it through one more time before we try it out, okay? When the sprite is clicked, we're going to check if status equals wrapped. And again, when green flag is clicked, we're going to set status to wrapped. We're going to do all this stuff in this little bracket here to there if the status is wrapped. And then we're always, after that, we're going to set the status to unwrapped. I think that's going to work. Why don't we hit green flag? Okay. Ducks and cakes are both at 7. Status is wrapped. I'm going to click here. It's going to shake. We got the cake, and then the status switched to unwrapped. So the GIFs are unwrapped. Now if I click, perfect. It's not going to react, which is just the behavior we want. Cakes went up by 1, and it's still not going up and up and up and up. So we've got the logic we're looking for now, right? And it wasn't too bad. I wasn't far off from it when we were playing with it over the weekend. So why don't I think this is working. Let's work on now implementing that on the other sprites. And then after we've implemented that on the other sprites, let's look for a way to reset the score, okay? So let's go to our second sprite. Let's hit green flag, just get them back to GIF boxes. We're just going to do all the same stuff again. So it's if, then we're going to take all of that, put it all, and it automatically took all the other blocks and put them inside, which is actually pretty convenient for us. This will make it much, much easier. And then you know what we might be able to do is actually go to this one. I might be able to just grab that by itself and drag it in there. All right, maybe save a little bit of time doing that, right? Yep, status equals wrapped. Drag it in there. And then actually, I could have just dragged it into both. There we go. Okay, so it's in there. And then let's go back. Yeah, this is ready to go here. So we switch to the third gift. We're going to put the if statement in there. Grab all that. Now, we're checking if the status is wrapped. Now, on the gift 2 and gift 3, we just need to do the set status thing. So we go to variables. We go to set this, and we go to set status to unwrapped. Got it? And then drag that to here as well to make a copy over to that other one. Set status to unwrapped. Okay. Now the other thing we didn't implement, I'm realizing now I'm looking, we didn't implement the score change on this gift or on, oh yeah, if random equals blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we need to implement the score change. So it's set cakes, change cakes by 1. And then change ducks by 1 there. That will change ducks. Okay. So that is add 1 to the score of cakes if it is a cake, add 1 to the score of ducks if it is a duck. Let's go to gift number 3. Do the same thing. Change cakes by 1 if the case where the gift 3 is a cake. And then we're going to change ducks by 1 in the case where gift 3 is a duck. Okay. Let's just go back. I want to make sure that's implemented. Yep. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's roll with this. See how it goes. Status is wrapped. 7 ducks, 0 cakes. Let's go for it. 8 ducks, 0 cakes. Let's wrap them again. Let's try again. Got the cake. Yes. And then we go to unwrapped. Cool. Now I'm wondering also if I think I should actually move this unwrapped status up further inside this loop, because there's another issue. Well, watch this. I think this is a race condition where I hit this gift. I can also just run and hit all the gifts really quickly. And then it's going to affect the score and everything. So why don't we actually move that change, that status up here? Set status to unwrapped right away. When it's clicked, we're going to consider it unwrapped immediately, just because then that will stop any action from other clicks on other gifts as a way of kind of cheating. And I think you might be you'd be able to score if you hit all 3 really quickly. You'd be able to score. So then there we go. Let's move that. I only just thought of that issue right now. Okay, so move that up there. Cool. All right, so the first thing we do is, after we've checked if the status is wrapped, we've set it to unwrapped, and then we do all the things that a gift should be done once. Okay, let's hit play. Make sure that works. You never know. Okay, 2. Just make sure it works normally. Yep, 11 ducks, and then we should see the rest. Let's hit green flag again. See if we get a cake here. Nope. Watch, it's not going to be this one either. There we go. Cake's good. Now let's try. We got the cake. Let's try. Let's see what we can do if we hit go. Let's see if we can get that race condition. Yeah, there we go. So there we can't. Now we can't open all the gifts. We can only open 1 gift at a time. So we did a little bit of state setting and state checking so that we can be sure that. You know, the player isn't cheating. What I would do now is let's hide the status thing. So this little indicator up here was just so that we could watch and make sure that everything worked. We're going to turn that off now, because our users don't need to see it. We do want the cakes and the ducks count to appear. One thing I want to do is add a reset button for the ducks and the cakes scores. So I'm going to go to add a sprite, like a reset button. I think there are buttons. So go in here, look up button. Yeah. Why don't I take the gray button? There we go. And I'm going to kind of line it up right there. And I think I can edit this sprite, edit the costume of the sprite, and add just some text to it here. So if I go to, there's a text tool. So all I've gone is I've clicked on that sprite, the button I just added, and I went to costumes. You can actually, there's another costume, this blue looking button, and then there's a gray looking button. Actually, the blue one looks pretty good. So why don't we stick with that? I'm going to take the text tool. Let's see what color. Maybe just do white. White on blue will look good, I think. Okay, cool. So I'll say reset and give it a, yeah, let's do it under lowercase. Reset, okay. Can I drag that? I think with the mouse pointer I can drag that. Yeah, put that right there. Okay. So we got the reset button. We can always change the look of that later, but for now, it's just about it works. We know what it does. The user is going to know what that does because it's right next to the scores. It says reset next to it. And all we have to do is add some logic so that when it's clicked what we do, all we do is set cakes to 0 and set ducks to 0. This should be a pretty easy to implement thing. So then set cakes to 0. And then we drag that over again, just change this to ducks. Set cakes to 0, set ducks to 0. Okay. Oh, wait, but I just hit green flag in it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's not when green flag is clicked. It's when the sprite is clicked. Okay, so let's go to back to events. I was gonna say, like, I hit green flag and everything when the sprite is clicked. Great. Okay, I don't need that. When the sprite is click reset. Okay, green flag. Okay. Great. Cool. Green flag. All right, let's see if we can get a cake. You know what I'm realizing? This might be confusing because, geez, 3 ducks. Ha. Come on. All right, let's get a cake. Middle one. Duck. There we go. We got a cake. Now, so what I was just realizing while I was playing this was that if I'm playing this game, I might confuse what that reset button is all about. Like I'd implied that since it's right next to the scores, that it's for the scoreboard. But I actually think it could be thought of as reset reset like the GIFs. So that's a little confusing. And what I'm thinking is the best bet to do is actually set this reset thing up, this like maybe like redo. I'm trying to think of like what the best thing is. I think actually hitting the green flag is the way we should reset the scores. That like really starts off the everything. And then the reset button really should actually reset the GIFs is what I'm kind of thinking here. So why don't we change that implementation? It's really easy. So we had all our code about when green flag was clicked is over in any of these sprites. We actually put it in a bunch of the sprites to set them up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to add it so that when the green flag is clicked, when people get started, everything gets to 0. I'm going to change the GIFs to change the costumes on the other ones, which actually might be, you know what? I'd have to use that sprite to change the costumes of the other sprites. You know what? I have a better solution, I think. For now, just because, you know, it's, you know, we've been playing this for about 18 minutes and I want to actually undo that. Delete, block. Okay. What I'm going to do, keep it this way for now. To make it clear, I'm going to just edit this button so that it says reset score. And then let's go to text. Is this reset score? Like that. Reset score, perfect. Okay. So now the way this works is the way I had described previously. I just made this clear that this is about resetting the score. I think the thing that is going to be confusing, what I'm going to need to implement is to say, you know, rewrap GIFs and put another button in. The issue is that I have to tell these other sprites to do that. And doing that means is a little bit more complex than I originally thought. I thought it would be just a quick drag and drop to do it, but we would have to implement something in each of the GIFs in order to do that. It wouldn't be too bad, but I think I want to save that for another stream. And we can maybe have a reset score button and a reset GIFs button, so you don't have to rely on the green flag in order to reset each of the GIFs. So let's play around with where we left off here and how things go. So hit the green arrow, all the GIFs are wrapped up. Got the cake. Now let's just double check this is implemented right. Yep, you see it's ignoring the clicks now, which is great. Hit the green flag to wrap up the GIFs again. Let's try again. Duck, one cake. Hit the green flag again. Two cakes, one duck. Let's see if we get 3 cakes, 1 duck. Come on, cake. No, it's gonna be hard. Yesterday, I was trying to get 3 cakes in a row. It's not gonna be easy. 3 cakes, 4 ducks. All right. So what we did was we fixed 2 issues with the game. One is that now there's not a condition where you can open up all the GIFs if you click fast enough. We also set it up so that if you clicked on a single sprite, it would then ignore clicks later until you hit the green flag again. We also set up the reset score button so that we can set everything back to 0. We didn't test that. Yeah, that still works. So score reset button. And I think now that I've been playing with it, I think we need to set up another thing so that it resets the GIFs or rewraps the GIFs. So maybe I'll put another button right next to this one to say rewrap GIFs, or maybe I'll put it down below or something. I don't know. Or maybe a button will become visible that'll say rewrap GIFs. And then we just need to implement that so that each of the sprites, each of these 3 GIF sprites gets implemented there. So yep, a little bit of live coding today with you, just for the fun of it. Yeah, I'll put the link to this in case you're just joining me and you want to see. This is the link. It's bit.ly/duckscakes. It'll take you to the Scratch project. All you need is a web browser to get to it. And then once you're there, you can play with the game, and it's saved. I think it's saved. Yep. You can play with the game and remix it and try it out yourself if you want to implement the ability for it to rewrap GIFs and everything. So that's all I got for today. Thanks so much for joining me again. I've been streaming 3 days in a row now, just playing around with Scratch, and I hope you've been enjoying it. And have a wonderful evening. And thanks for joining me again. Bye.